football team does bad, who's the easiest guy to blame? The quarterback.
The quarterback.
Yeah. So you see, maybe he throws a bad interception here or there. You don't see the defense getting shredded apart. It's always quarterback. It's look like that.
He was in his mid-20s, but nobody won more games after 40 than him, and that's because
Matt, you seem to be on mute because we cannot understand what you're saying.
That guy's a Looney Tune.
Start over. That's a bad sign. And then they had Jay Cutler for all those years. He was not really halfway decent. So listen, but I'm telling you one thing about the Broncos. They're going to have a really good defense.
And we're going to win the World Series against the Dodgers in 7 games.
She's not liberal.
No, she's not. She's an anarchist.
Yeah, all right.
What's an anarchist? I mean, I don't know where that stands.
They don't like any
Massive
politics.
piece, and I think that we've been saying for years that eventually the Devils are going to make a trade that hurts.
I applaud people like at least like DeSantis, who at least like said, "All right, we're done." Like, I don't care what like schemes you come up with in Washington.
2009.
Yeah, 2009.
Long time ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Start to be concerned is if maybe neither runs for president, and then you're kind of looking, you're wondering, who you're gonna have next.
Beto O'Rourke. He swear his name was Spanish.
All of a sudden, here comes Brandon. All right, sounds good. Doug Sarabo show up next. All right, we are live on the Doug Sarabo Show, which is brought to you by Stutz Betting, bet like Michael Lepore. I think it's been a while since we've done Dougie's political talk. It's been a while. Yeah, we've done politics when I've had Dan Francisco on, when I had Luis on, when I had Nicole and Jay on. But it's been a while where we've actually discussed politics and what's been going on lately. And for me, what I want to discuss is how the mainstream media, you got Fox News, you got CNN, MSNBC, you got social media, and how it basically dictates our lives. And it dictates how people vote. Because it seems like to me, a lot of people these days vote based on personality. They vote based on emotion. They vote based on their feelings. Now, for some reason, a lot of people, the first time in 2008, a lot of people voted for Barack Obama because they truly thought he was going to bring change. They love that tone, the way he speaks, that personality. Now, if you look at President Donald Trump, they don't like his tone. They don't like his personality. They don't like the way he speaks. Why is that? Why do people care so much about someone's personality rather than someone's policy? Policy is a lot more important than personality. Yeah, don't get me wrong. As someone who has supported President Trump since the beginning, when he announced his presidency, I didn't even really care to watch the debates because I knew that I was going to vote for him. Just because I followed him throughout his whole career, whether it was The Apprentice, The Art of the Deal, just knowing his history. And I voted for him in 2016, voted for him in 2020. And I'm not afraid to say that. Because the President of the United States is not a popularity contest. It's about having the best results for your country. That's why we vote. And back to President Barack Obama. He is looked at like a god on television. Pop culture loves Barack Obama. But then again, pop culture loved Donald Trump before he ran for president. That's a fact. And Donald Trump Jr. mentioned it on a few podcasts with Dan Bongino. He's mentioned it in his books that, you didn't hate us when you were coming to the Apprentice after parties. You weren't calling my father Trump a racist when you were coming to those parties. Why? Why did everything change? That's something I don't understand. Because it's that personality that they didn't like. It's that personality. But what's wrong with his personality? Yeah, and back to what I was going to say before. I'm not afraid to admit it. Yeah, I support Trump. But he could have toned it down a bit. He could have toned it down a bit on Twitter. Or television, whatever you want to talk about. He could have toned it down a bit. I think us everyday Americans, we understand how DC works. We understand that both sides are technically the same. We understand how corrupt some of them are. We understand about the Clintons, Hunter Biden, Joe Biden. We understand that. And if I was his campaign manager, I would probably have gone up to him and been like, "Hey, Donald, Mr. President, tone it down a little bit. I know you're you. I know you're not going to change. You haven't changed since the beginning. You haven't changed as you were a business owner. I don't expect you to change now. But everyday Americans, they love you for your policy, and they understand your policy, and they know how your policy works. They know the deal with politics. They know the deal with these politicians. You do not have to remind them. You do not have to talk about it on Twitter 24/7. Stick to business. Keep showing them results. And you'll get this election done. And I think that was one of the problems for Trump. He didn't know when to stop. And I remember watching Trump, the American Dream on Netflix. Great documentary, by the way. It's a 4-part series of his life in New York City, business owner, businessman, and going into politics. Same message, by the way. He always had the same message, how the United States get ripped off, how these politicians don't care. So, and I think about that. Isn't that what you want? You want someone that's real? With Trump, you know what you're getting. With Biden, you don't know what you're getting. He doesn't even know what he's getting half the time. But what I want to look into today's episode, it's honestly amazing how politics, how the mainstream media is hypocritical, how it dictates emotions. And what I want to get to today is to show you guys, if you're watching me, if you're listening to me, the truth. And I think many people need to be outspoken. And, we had Dan Francisco on a while ago. I've been to his events. They're great. But he also goes to events and he speaks to people. And that's what we need more of. We need people like myself, like Dan, to go out there, Ian Smith, to go out there, to speak, to tell people, what do you think about what's going on? And then you can play a little bit of devil's advocate. Because that's where things change. You can't always go to Fox News. You can't always go to CNN for your truth, for your facts. Because both platforms, both networks, they are pandering to their group of people that are watching for votes. Again, if you're just joining us, this is the Doug Stravo Show, which is brought to you by Stutz Betting, bet like Michael Lepore. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and then when we get back, we have much more to get to. The Doug Stravo Show is brought to you by Stutz Betting. Bet like Michael Lepore. You are watching Dougie's Political Talk. We'll be right back. All right, we are back on the Doug Stravo Show, which is brought to you by Stutz Betting. Bet like Michael Lepore. So the one thing that amazes me is how, so far, throughout the Biden presidency, the person that gets blamed the most is Donald Trump. The person that gets blamed the most is Vladimir Putin. Why is that? Why is that? You know, I want to get into the gas. You know, when we had an oil shortage, when we had high gas prices, Vladimir Putin got blamed. Why? Do people actually believe that? Like my one friend, we had him on an episode before. You know, he called Trump a dictator. He called Trump a hater. He called Trump a divider. All these terms that don't even make sense. Like he believes that Donald Trump was a dictator because he called it the Chinese virus. And I questioned him. Why? Well, man, I don't want to embarrass him. I do not want to play the clip. But he said, well, he called it a Chinese virus to use it as an attack on Chinese Americans. So see how people are voting based on their emotions? It makes no sense to me. It truly makes no sense to me. And when we look at the gas prices, you know, I remember late 2020, I was paying like $2.26. I actually remember 4th of July weekend in the year 2017. And I have this screenshot on my phone to prove to people that it has nothing to do with Russia. It has nothing to do with Putin. It has to do with their own emotions. So I'm hoping I have this so I can read this out loud to people. And I'll try and put it on the screen so those of you could see it. So I posted this on my Facebook July 2nd, 2017. Fun fact of the day, for the first time in years, the cost of gas is close to $2 at 4th of July weekend. Last year, the average price of gas in July was $2.43. I got gas at $2.03 in Freehold the other day. But let's continue to cry about Trump and his tweets. Also, the unemployment rate keeps going down and the stock market keeps going high. So why are we blaming Putin? Why are we blaming Trump? Like, I don't understand the logic behind some of these people. The way people vote, and this is what someone posted on Instagram, a friend of mine. Joe Biden is making improvements on the gas prices from what it looks like. And even though this is a small step, I know that he'll get it done whenever he can. Also, expletive. Donald Trump, Vladimir Putin, and greedy gas companies for being absolute expletive and pocketing our misery for your selfish needs. Give me a break. Really. You know, and you can follow my Instagram. It's going to be a brand new Instagram. It's called Doug Stravo Reporting. I post facts. I post highlights, clips. I interview people. I post it on there. Why is Trump getting blamed? Didn't Trump try to warn you that Joe Biden was going to ban fracking? Didn't he try to warn you? And we give credit to YouTube for this video. We give credit to Kay Houston on YouTube because this is their video. Trump warned you. that if you shut down the pipeline, gas price will rise. Like, how do you guys think? I really don't know. So here's the clip from the debate.
Final
Would he
question.
close
It
down
falls-
the oil industry?
It falls.
Would you close
It
down the
falls-
oil
By the way, I
industry?
would transition from the oil industry, yes.
Oh,
I will
that's a big
transition.
statement.
It is a big statement.
That's a big
because
statement.
I would stop
Why would you do that?
because the oil industry pollutes significantly.
I see.
Here's the deal. But
That's
you
a
can't
big
do
statement.
that. Well, if you let me finish the statement, because it has to be replaced by renewable energy over time.
I will stop. Key word. I will stop. That wasn't Donald Trump that said I will stop. That wasn't Donald Trump. That wasn't Vladimir Putin. Those were words of Joe Biden. I didn't hear Vladimir Putin say that. Yes, when you get your oil from Russia, obviously you could blame Russia. But when you were energy independent, when you were getting oil from the United States, and you changed those policies on day one, and the same person that posted that thing on Instagram saying expletive to Trump and expletive to Putin, he applauded Joe Biden for shutting down the pipeline. And anytime I confront him and I question him, and I say that to him, do you remember when you applauded Joe Biden for shutting down the pipeline? He has no answer. He's got no answer. Let's play the clip.
Over time. And I'd stop giving to the oil industry, I'd stop giving them federal subsidies. He won't give federal subsidies to the gas, excuse me, to solar and wind.
Yeah.
Why are we giving it to oil industry?
We actually do
All
give
right.
it to solar and wind.
We
And
have
that's
one
maybe the
final
biggest
question.
statement in terms of business. That's the biggest statement.
Okay.
Because
We have
basically
one
what he's
final
saying
question,
is he is
Mr.
going to
President.
destroy the oil industry. Will you remember that, Texas? Will you
Okay.
remember that, Pennsylvania, Oklahoma?
Vice President Biden, let me give you 10 seconds to respond, and then
Ohio.
I have to get to the final question. Vice President Biden.
He takes everything out of context. But the point is, look, we have to move toward a net zero emissions. The first place to do that by the year 2035 is in energy production, by 2050 totally.
All right. One
Is he gonna
final
get
question
China
for both
to do
of
it?
you. No, we're finished with
Is
this.
he
We
going
have
to
to
get
move on
China
to
to
our
do it?
final question. We
No,
have to
I'm
move
going
on
to
to our
rejoin
final
Paris
question.
Accord and make China abide by what they agreed to.
All right. One final.
And that was another bad decision that by the President of the United States. What are we doing? What are we doing? But again, that goes back to emotion and feelings. Because that's how you're voting by. Personality. Would you want someone to be taken advantage of? How many times did over the years, not just when he was running for president, but when he was a top businessman and everyone loved him, well, how many times did he talk about that? We got to stop the oil. We got to start drilling here. We got to be energy independent. He's said that. See, the thing about Donald Trump is he pressures these other world leaders to do what he wants for the United States. And I think that's a great deal. You may not like that. You may not like that. But that's not our fault. The younger generation is taught to vote by emotion. They're not taught that, but that's what they see. To vote by emotion, they vote for feelings. And they all believe the same thing. They all believe the same thing. Police are bad. America is oppressive. Why? Why are we doing this to the younger generation? Why? I don't get it. Again, this is the Doug Strava Show, which is brought to you by Stutz Betting, bet like Michael Lepore. Thank you for joining us tonight. We have much more to get to. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back. Doug Explodo Talk. We'll be right back. All right. We are live on the Doug Strava Show, which is brought to you by Stutz Betting, bet like Michael Lepore. So we got another video to play for you guys, and we give credit to where credit is due. This video is from, hold on, I have it on my phone, because I do not own the audio, I do not own the rights to these videos, so it's always good to give credit. Manila Bulletin Online. This is the next video that we have for you guys.
220,000 Americans dead. If you hear nothing else I say tonight, hear this. Anyone who's responsible for not taking control, in fact, not saying I take no responsibility initially, anyone who's responsible for that many deaths should not remain as President of the United States of America.
So why is Joe Biden president? Do you see the contradiction and the hypocrisy? Do you see the hypocritical events of politics? Do you not see that? Everyone was calling for President Donald Trump to resign because of how he handled COVID. First of all, what happened in your state has to do with your governors, your mayors, for all the lockdowns, for all the... I don't even want to get into that because it affected our lives. It really affected our lives. Our livelihood. Not being able to work. Not being able to see your family, see your friends. Mental health got worse. It went up on the rise. Physical health got worse. But when you say something like that, and if you look back throughout the Biden presidency, the Brandon presidency, there have been more cases, more people have died, and he even came out and said, and Joe Biden even came out and said, 8 months into their pandemic, and Donald Trump still does not have a plan to defeat COVID. I do. So what was your plan, Joe? We had more cases and more deaths of COVID. And then he came out and said there's no federal solution. So why were you still president? You know, the hatred for Donald Trump was clear. It was clear. They just wanted to get Trump out of office. They didn't care about the results and the impact of their policies and how it would affect us today. Could go on. Afghanistan. You could go on with... there's so much stuff that has been going on that you can't even mention one. Ukraine. All of a sudden, Putin says, hey, let's go into Ukraine. But when Donald Trump was president, how many Middle East peace deals did we have? There were no new wars. There was civil unrest. But that happens throughout every president. Remember in Baltimore when Barack Obama called the rioters thugs and criminals? That was Donald Trump. He put out a tweet mentioning the word thugs, and it was a whole CNN headline. Politics is a game. It's hypocritical and contradicting. But the young voters don't see that. They don't see that. And that's a problem. That's a problem. What we need is we need people to wake up, and we need people to see the truth in politics. Remember, how many times did Donald Trump talk about illegal immigration and the hatred he got for it? Now we have open borders. But as I recall, almost everyone that was running for president, going back from Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, they all voted for a wall. They all said illegal immigration's a problem. You know, I remember Barack Obama said we had a humanitarian crisis at the border. Donald Trump says that. It was a fake crisis that he made up. So if you guys want, you can send me a tweet. Was the hatred for Donald Trump that extreme? Or did people just not care? They don't care about policy. A lot of people are waking up. But how do you feel? Truly, how do you feel about what's going on into this country right now? You know, I talk to people all the time, and I tell them, you know what? I thought about, the last few years I thought about running for office, town council. You know, I was a campaign manager for Marilyn Israel for Spotswood Town Council, and she won first African American to ever be elected to her seat. First African American woman. You know, we made history. You know, I still want to run. But I don't think right now is the time. Really, I don't think right now is the time for me to run. You know, politics it's too much divisiveness. It's too much. There's so much division. And I like what I'm doing right now. I think I could be more of a voice by having my podcast, by having my YouTube channel, going to events, speaking to people, interviewing them, and see what they're thinking. But to run right now, no. I'm going to say it right now. You don't have to run to make a difference. If people see what I'm doing right now and speaking, and it changes your heart, it changes your mind, and it changes your soul, then I've done more for you than any politician can. They just want your vote. It's all for power. It's all for power. But we could truly make a difference by using our voice, being active. Do not be afraid to go out and speak to people. Don't. You can't be afraid. You go wake people up. I've had people that don't even know me watch my podcast and tell me, wow, I didn't know that's what was going on. I didn't know that. You said what you said on that podcast, and I did research. You were right. So let's start being active with our voices and tell people the truth. Tell people what they want to hear. No. What they want to hear is emotion and feeling. Tell people what they don't want to hear. They may pay attention to you, and they may be interested in finding out what's going on. Because from what I see right now is it doesn't matter. That's why I consider myself more of a libertarian. Because it doesn't matter if you're a Republican, if you're a Democrat. Both parties are the same. They just want that power. They just want that power because the more power they have, the more control they have, the more money they make. It's a shame. And I think we need Donald Trump back more than ever. But is 2024 going to be too late? The midterms are coming up, so we shall see. You know, you can get me on a whole conversation about term limits, but we can save that for another day. All right, thank you for listening to us on the Doug Strava Show, which is brought to you by Stutz Betting. Bet like Michael Lepore. This was a special episode of the Doug Strava Show. This was Dougie's Political Talk. Season 5 is almost coming to the end. Season 6 will debut opening week of the National Football League. If you're watching this on YouTube, the Michael Laporte tribute video will be playing, so stay tuned for that. If you're listening to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your podcast, you can find the Michael Laporte tribute video on YouTube, or just go to the link and watch this episode that we're doing on YouTube. Again, the Doug Sarva Show, which is brought to you by Stutz Betting. Bet like Michael Laporte. This was Dougie's Political Talk. I just got to read this first. Thank you for supporting the Doug Sarava Show, Sarava Broadcasting, and all those involved with Sarava Broadcasting. We appreciate you guys. So what is this, Mikey?
Can you see it? Put it up to...
Lift it up by the camera.
Can everybody see it?
Wait, move it back. Oh, number 38, Lepore. That's you.
I was in the locker room with that, in the room with 3 Hall of Famers.
No, that's customized. That's all.
Oh, I know. And listen... All right, I'm going to give people... No, that's for the pen.
Oh, yeah, that's for the pen.
No, they got to be more for the Razor...
16-1.
16-1, that's not bad.
Mike, what do you think about your Chargers this past season?
They stay. I'm sorry.
All right, thank you, Mike.
So what do you think of the city today? It's nice, but a little bit nicer than the other ones.
No, I like that fact that it only cost me 12 hours.
12 bucks.
This is great. Now you're going to make us some food.
No.
Yeah, there's stuff in your fridge. Should have brought the pie. Next time I'll go. I'll get it. Yeah, this is a great show. But yeah, you do have some leftovers in your fridge. I think it's time for dinner for you and I. Some in the fridge. Should we get the camera? All right, Mike. Any final thoughts for the audience? Myself.
It's been very entertaining. Hopefully, my picks come through and people can make a little money, stuff like that. Have a one. Enjoy your football season. And go bolt up, everybody.
There he is, everyone. That was Michael Laporte, otherwise known as the Bolt. No more Stutz. The Bolt. That's his name. What a show, Mike. Thank you for coming on.
Don't listen to these picks. You lose all your money. Trust me. Jaguars, if they win the division, I'll stop watching football.
I just want to try on this jersey you got me. You know, what can I say? I'm a Giant fan, but...
Bolt up? Bolt up?
Hold up. Man of many nicknames. We got... All right, you don't want to be called Stutz. What about produce? I know produce. We're gonna go to a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. I love you, Mikey.
There you go. He's officially a Charger fan.
No.
If the Chargers win, I get lifetime pizza in his pizzeria. The Chargers won, so I love his pie. Thank you. It's been a pleasure talking to everybody.